How you doing?
We must be going to be here.
Yeah.
Ready? Okay, it's 5 o'clock. Appreciate everybody coming out to the city council meeting today, braving the 102-degree heat. But thank you all for coming. We do have a quorum. We're going to declare the meeting open. If y'all will stand with me for the pledge and invocation. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If you'd bow with me, please. Father, we're so grateful to come together and to make decisions regarding the important aspects of our city. Father, help us always to remember that we're servants serving the fine folks of this community. We ask a special blessing on them and for all those who are serving as first responders in our community and those across our country. Father, be with the servicemen and women. We ask things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so we've got two sets of minutes to approve this evening. We've got minutes from the budget workshop of June 14th and the regular city council meeting of June 18th. Y'all had an opportunity to review those?
Move to approve the minutes of June the 14th and June the 18th.
Second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, so today is Professional Engineers Day, August 1st. I want to invite John Ho to come to the podium. If you're a professional engineer in the audience today, will you please stand? All right. Well, thank you. And John, did you have a police escort this time?
I'm sorry.
Did you have a police escort through Sherman this time?
I think I'm good this
We are
evening.
in the presence of royalty. John is the president of the Texas Society of Professional Engineers.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I hate to say I'm no longer royalty because my terms was up a couple weeks ago. So, so
well,
really,
Oh,
Do we need
a
Clay to
regular
come up
person.
here and stand, or? No, we appreciate you being here. Appreciate all the work you do for the city and for the MPO and across our state. And with that, I'm going to read the proclamation that's been prepared for today's occasion. It says, whereas licensed professional engineers are dedicated to applying scientific knowledge, mathematics, and ingenuity to develop solutions for technical, societal, and commercial problems while holding paramount the public health, safety, and welfare. And whereas Sherman licensed professional engineers have made significant contributions on a local and national scale, and whereas Sherman's economy has grown in part because its licensed professional engineers are instrumental to our community, and whereas August 1st, 2018 has been declared Professional Engineers Day by the Texas Society of Professional Engineers in conjunction with the National Society of Professional Engineers, an organization founded in 1934 that represents the interests of more than 31,000 licensed professional engineers and those on the path to licensure who show the highest level of dedication to their profession in all 50 states and U.S. territories. Now, therefore, I, David Plyler, Mayor of the City of Sherman, Texas, by the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim August 1st, 2018, Professional Engineers Day in the City of Sherman and encourage all citizens to join me in this special observance. So with that, John, I'm going to give you this proclamation, and thank you very much
wonderful.
for your
Thank you,
hard work.
Mr. Mayor. Can we have a picture with you?
Yeah.
With the honor?
Do you want to get the other
Yes.
culprits in the photo?
Three engineers.
Nerd alert.
Get that tall one right there.
Scoot, hey, Clay. Clay, scoot over a little bit.
Just don't say.
No. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, thank you. At this time, we'll open public hearing. Linda, if you'll read C1 for us, please.
Ordinance 6129, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Chapter 14, Exhibit A of the Code of Ordinances entitled General Zoning Ordinance at Section 6.8 entitled O-1 75 and 82 Overlay District, providing for inclusion in the Code of Ordinances, providing for severability, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Okay, thank you. Robbie, do you want to say something about this item?
Yes, I would like to have Scott say something about this
Okay.
item.
Scott?
No, okay. This is extending the existing overlay district, the 75 and 82 overlay district we have from Highway 1417 west to the city limits along Highway 82. Same standards, nothing changed. This area's come into the city, and this will help future development for non-residential uses. The board voted 7-0 to forward this to the council for their consideration.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? Okay, moving on to C2. Linda, if you'll read that for us.
Ordinance 6130, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Section 12, Ordinance Number 2280, so as to include certain properties within the CO Office District at 2607 Loy Lake Road, being lots 2 and 3, Bob Allen Edition, Trinity Baptist Church owners, Department of Family and Protective Services tenant, Robert Minshew representative, Scales of Engineering engineer, and Goodwin Lassiter and Strong architect, surveyor, providing for a repealer, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Scott?
Okay, this request is going from residential to the CO office for the Department of Family and Protective Services to build a new office there. This is in compliance with the master plan, and the zoning board voted 7-0 to approve this subject to the staff review letter.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? If you'll state your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, Larry Warnett, 207 Crake, Marlin, Texas.
Okay,
And I'm here to answer questions if need be, but I'll be the owner of the project.
okay, great. Well, thank you. Yeah, we'll get to that in just a few minutes.
Okay?
Thank you. All right, Linda, if you, anyone else to speak on that item before we move on? Don't want to miss anybody. Okay, Linda, if you'll read C3 for us, please.
Ordinance 6131, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Section 12, Ordinance Number 2280, so as to include certain properties within the C1 Retail Business District at 4070 Loy Lake Road, being 10 acres in the T.J. Shannon Survey, abstract number 1137, Southwest Premier Properties LLC owners and Kyle Booth Bluestone Partners representative, providing for a repealer, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda. Scott?
This is the Central Freight property that's out north of Town Center. It came into the city already developed, so it was zoned residential. And with the development going on near there, it was posing some setback problems and stuff. So we recommended that they go ahead and apply for C1 zoning, which they did. And the board did vote 7-0 to approve this subject to the staff review letter.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? Okay. If not, we'll move to C4. Linda, if you'll read that for us.
Ordinance 6132, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Section 8, subsection 5A, Ordinance Number 2280, so as to grant a specific use permit to allow patio homes in an R1 one-family residential district at 502 East North Creek Drive, 4706 through 4723 Indio Lanes, 400 through 516 Carneros Drive, 4701 through 4733 Dry Creek Road, and 400 through 505 Sonoma Court, being lots 1 through 5, Block A, lots 1 through 19, Block B, lots 1 through 21, Block C, Magnolia Village Addition, C.C. Bates Ventures, LLC, Homes by JLS of Texoma and Magnolia Village LP owners, and Helvey Wagner Surveying Incorporated surveyor. Providing for a repealer clause, providing that this specific use permit shall be granted subject to certain conditions, providing a penalty not to exceed $2,000, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. Scott?
And this is a request for patio homes in this neighborhood. It's for 44 homes. We had no opposition, and the board voted 6-1 to approve this, subject to the staff review letter.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? Okay. No? All right, Linda, if you'll read C5 for us, please.
Ordinance 6133, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Section 8, subsection 5A, ordinance number 2280, so as to grant a specific use permit to allow patio homes in an R1 one-family residential district in the 2300 block of Peggy's Cove, 3300 through 3500 blocks of Hannon Street, and 2300 through 2400 blocks of South Ridge Lane, being lots 19 through 39, Block E, and lots 38 through 42, Block G, Pebblebrook South, Phase 3. Zakia US LLC and Wildwood Homes LLC owners, providing for a repealer clause, providing that this specific use permit shall be granted subject to certain conditions, providing a penalty not to exceed $2,000, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. Scott?
This is a specific use permit to allow 26 patio homes in this neighborhood. Had no opposition on this one. It was 7-0, subject to the staff review letter.
All right. Is there anyone here to address item C5 this evening? Okay. No? All right, Linda? You read C6 for us.
Ordinance 6134, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Section 8, subsection 5A, ordinance number 2280, so as to grant a specific use permit to allow a parking lot in an R1 one-family residential district at 1111 North Ricketts Street, being Lot 50, Block 1, Burge Fairview Addition, Sherman Montessori Preschool Incorporated owners, and Allison West representative, providing for a repealer clause, providing that this specific use permit shall be granted subject to certain conditions, providing a penalty not to exceed $2,000, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Okay. Thank you. Scott?
Yeah, this request is from the Montessori School that's on Belden Street. They have purchased the lot on Ricketts Street, and they want to put in a parking lot for their employees. It's adjacent to the rear of their property on Belden. So the board voted 7-0 to approve this, subject to the staff review letter.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening?
I'm Allison West, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay. Thank you, Allison. Okay, anyone else? Okay. Linda, if you'll read C7 for us.
Ordinance 6135, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Section 8, subsection 5A, ordinance number 2280, so as to grant a specific use permit to allow microblading, permanent makeup, tattoo studio in a C1 retail business district, O-1.1 FM 1417 overlay district at 2121 North FM 1417 Heritage Parkway, Suite 0, being part of Block 4, Western Hills Edition, Section 5, Owens Central, LLC owners, Amanda's Nails tenant, and Katie Campbell applicant, providing for a repealer clause, providing that this specific use permit shall be granted subject to certain conditions, providing a penalty not to exceed $2,000, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. Scott?
Because the state of Texas requires a tattoo license for permanent makeup, we have this specific use request at an existing salon. Had no opposition. The board did vote 7-0 to approve this, subject to the staff review, and that this request be tied to the applicant.
Okay. Do we have anyone to speak on C7 this evening? Hi, if you'll state your name and address for the record.
Katie Campbell, 2 Circle Drive, Denison, Texas.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Okay, at this time, we'll close public hearing and consider adoption of ordinances. Council, any questions?
On 6132 and 6133, I know that they're already turning dirt and building structures. Is this the proper order for this to take place after structures are already being built, then come in and ask for a change, Robbie?
They don't have permits for anything. They may be doing site work. They're not supposed to be doing any foundations or framing or anything like that.
And what exactly is it because it's a smaller lot that they'd have to, what's the difference that they've got to get an exception?
The patio homes allows 5-foot side yards instead of the 6-foot, and a reduced front yard down to 20-foot, and rear yard could go as close as 10-foot to rear property line.
That's all the questions I have.
Okay.
Scott, just to clarify, on that 6132, there's no desire there for them to do duplexes. They're just sticking with the standard patio home with the reduced side lot.
That's a request, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 6132 and 33 as written.
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
And then, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion for the approval of 6129 and 6130. And which one did we, and 6131 and 6134 and 6135.
okay, thank you.
Kind of out of order, but
That's
we got 'em
okay.
all, I
That's
think.
okay. Yeah, we got them. All right, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, we are down to the consent agenda. These items are considered to be routine and will be enacted in one motion without discussion unless a council member or a citizen requests a specific item be discussed and voted on separately. The consent agenda includes items D4, D5, D6, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, and E7. Is there anyone who would like to take any of these items separately? Okay, if not, can we get a motion on consent?
Okay, go ahead.
I move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, Resolution 6382. Linda, if you'll read that for us.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman finding and determining a public purpose and public necessity exists for construction of city project Lamberth Road from State Highway 289 to Shady Oaks Lane Extension Project, appointing an appraiser and negotiator as necessary, authorizing the city manager to establish just compensation for the property rights to be acquired, authorizing the city manager to take all steps necessary to acquire the needed property rights in compliance with all applicable laws and regulations, finding that the meeting at which this resolution is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda. Clint?
Soon after we annexed Carriage Estates, we started working towards acquiring additional right-of-way for the future expansion of Lamberth Road. We've acquired all except one property, and this would authorize us to begin the condemnation proceedings with that final property owner.
Okay. Council, any questions?
Do we anticipate the cost of that frontage to be what we budgeted for in the acquisition there?
We've had it appraised, and that's why we're having to take it to condemnation. Is what we feel the value is versus what the owner feels value is vastly different.
How
So-
vastly?
Power of 10.
That's pretty vast.
We've acquired all the other ones within.
Without condemnation, yeah.
Okay.
All right, any more questions on this item? Can we get a motion?
Make a motion.
Thank you. We have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, Linda, if you'll read 6383 for us.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman finding and determining a public purpose and public necessity exists for construction of the Sherman Northwest Sewer Line, lift station, and force main improvements, appointing an appraiser and negotiator as necessary, authorizing the city manager to establish just compensation for the property rights to be acquired, authorizing the city manager to take all steps necessary to acquire the needed property rights in compliance with all applicable laws and regulations, finding that the meeting at which this resolution is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. Mark?
This project will provide sewer service to the area west of 289, around Highway 82 in the Preston Club area. It consists of a gravity sewer to a future proposed lift station on the north side of 82. That lift station will be able to serve the whole area out in that part of the city. It's a future infrastructure project for the far west part of Sherman. We're just asking for permission to start negotiating for the right-of-way for the lift station, the gravity sewer mains, and the force main that will come back to our existing sewer.
Okay. All right. Council, any questions?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve.
Okay.
Second?
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Linda, if you'll read 6384 for us, please.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman authorizing execution of an advance funding agreement between the City of Sherman and the State of Texas, acting by and through the Texas Department of Transportation for an improved pedestrian curb ramp locally funded project on System, SH 56 Lamar Street and Rusk Street, PED improvement, finding that the meeting at which this resolution is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Okay. Thank you. Clint?
So we have budget allotted every year in the past several years to do sidewalk improvements in the downtown area. This one is specifically at Rusk and Lamar. We're going to actually do a pedestrian / crosswalk improvement similar to what you see around the courthouse. Because it was on the actual road of 56 and there's a pedestrian pole that's being moved, TxDOT required us to do this advance funding agreement. And so this approval will allow us to move forward in the bid process and hopefully finish construction in the fall.
Okay. Thank you. Council, any questions?
Move to approve Resolution 6384.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Linda, if you'll read 6388 for us.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman authorizing execution of an agreement with Sean Vanderveer, doing business as Vanderveer Group, LLC, under the City of Sherman's Central Business District Historic Building Restoration and Improvement Grant Program for improvements to 124 North Walnut Street, finding that the meeting at which this resolution is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda. Nate?
Mr. Mayor, Council, this is our third application under the facade grant program this year. This will be for the Robert Sanford and Taylor building located downtown. The two previous grants left us with about $15,000 left in the fund for this year, and that is what Mr. Vanderveer is applying for. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to him to answer any questions about his project.
It's Robert Sanford and Taylor building. It's been vacant for over 3 decades and in continued disrepair. There's 8 rooms in it, and we're wanting to work on 3 currently for an event center. We own the parking lot across the street, so we think that the parking will be strategic for it. If you have any questions, let me know.
How many square foot do you think you're going to have when it's all said and done?
For the event center, it'll be 10,500, and the overall building's a little over 26,000.
So room to grow?
We want to do restaurant, retail, and residential in the rest.
Sean, what do you see your timeline being on this project?
Realistically, February. I would like to see it in December if possible, so we'll have the entire calendar year.
And which parking lot across the street do you own?
It's directly to the east. There's a little, what was a watch shop.
Okay.
And it's between it and the old charcoal house.
Okay.
So there's 48 spaces, if I remember correctly.
All right. Will you be doing any improvement on that parking lot?
We do plan to eventually, but we haven't been able to get a lot company out to look at it yet.
Okay.
Your estimate for this project does not include that parking lot then?
No, it does not. And it also does not We have not received a roofing estimate yet. I just put a number in there, but I don't think my number is going to be accurate. I think it's going to be higher because we went up there with the roofing company and there's more work to be done than what I realized. I'll invite you Friday to join us cleaning it out if you'd like on a 106-degree day. It's been hot.
And I've been there.
Yes.
And it needs cleaned out.
Yes.
It's an exciting adventure downtown.
We're on our third dumpster, just of the old stuff that was left in, the old wood and appliances.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right. E1, Linda, if you read that for us.
Site plan approval and exception for Sherman Economic Development Corporation and Globotech Incorporated owners and Justin Walton, Teague Nolan Perkins, engineers representative under ordinance number 2252, Article 4, Sections 410, 2J, and 2GL for Globotech Fab 3 expansion and to allow a retaining wall, security fence, and plant screening to have a 38-foot setback along a portion of Howe Drive in the Blaylock Industrial Park at 200 West FM 1417 Heritage Parkway.
Thank you, Linda. Scott?
Since this is in Blaylock, it goes to P&Z and City Council for site plan approval and exceptions. This is for that new expansion they're planning out there. The building sits within the setbacks, however, the fire lane encroaches into that 55.7-foot setback, and because of the terrain, they're having to build the retaining wall on their side. So they're going to berm and landscape, make it look nice. Planning and Zoning Board voted 7-0 to approve this, subject to the staff review letter.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. Council, any questions?
I move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. And for transparency note, I didn't vote on that, Billy. All right, we are down to citizens' requests. Is there anyone here to address the council this evening? I don't have any cards. No? Okay. Media questions? Council comments.
I don't have any comments tonight.
Okay.
And I don't have any comments tonight.
No comments.
No comments.
Sweet.
Wow.
Keeping it
All
short.
right, so we've got some announcements. I did want to say I appreciate the staff and everybody that worked so hard when we hosted Co-Wetzel. It was a wonderful concert. And speaking of concerts, this Thursday, we've got a great 80s cover band, the Spasmatics. I understand it's going to be a fun show. Now, are we supposed to wear costumes?
Yeah.
You are.
They base their characters off of Revenge of the Nerds, so they get really into like.
No costume
Okay.
necessary.
All right, and that's Thursday at 7, so y'all be sure and come out for that. And then on July 26th, we'll be hosting Asia, bringing Heat of the Moment to Kid Key Park to end our summer music series in style. Everyone make plans to attend those two concerts. Be sure to stop by the Old Island Post afterward to hear the evening's opener play again. And finally, on Saturday, July 28th, Sherman Parks and Rec will be hosting a water balloon fight for the kiddos. It's BYOB, bring your own balloons to the splash at 5 p.m. to participate. That looks like a lot of fun. All right, so at 5:32, the council will now hold a closed executive session pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act, section 551.071, to consult with the city attorney concerning pending or contemplated litigation on a matter in which city attorney's duty under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter. At section 551.074 to consider personnel matters, and at section 551.087 to deliberate regarding economic development negotiations. So we will be back in a few moments.
Is that true? We'll be back in a few moments.
Yeah.